Alright everyone out there in Banjo Land, Mike Henning here. I wanted to give you some exercises today you can incorporate into your warm-up routine to work on slides, regardless of what skill level you're at, okay? If you've been playing bluegrass banjo for any length of time, you probably have realized you use slides a lot, almost in every song. So they're really good. You can't really get too much practice with slides. So I'm going to break this lesson into 3 sections, kind of some beginner exercises, some intermediate level exercises, and then some advanced level exercises you can use. And remember, with these technique lessons, you don't have to practice this stuff for hours at a time. That'll probably get a little bit boring. So incorporate it into your warm-up routine as a nice little stretching exercise, just a way to get your fingers moving. 5-10 minutes here or there, that's where I'd recommend working on this stuff. All right, let's jump into the lesson. Okay, so let's start with beginner stuff we can work on. So just real quick overview. Remember, a couple little tips. You're going to want to keep your fingernails of your fretting hand pretty short. If your fingernails are too long, you're not going to be able to get the correct angle of fretting, and it's really going to throw off your slides. The other thing is you want to make sure you're playing, let's see if you can see this on the camera, on the very tips of your finger. You don't want to be playing down here on the pad, okay? You want to be playing on the very tips, okay? So here's a couple little basic things I would start with, as like I said, as a warm-up routine. So you might have done some basic slides on each string, like that 2 to 5 slide, 2 to 4 on the 3rd string, 2 to 3 on the 2nd string, and then 2 to 5 again on the 1st string. A lot of times you might do it with like a forward roll or forward reverse roll, something like this. Something like that, right? And I have a whole lesson that breaks that down if you haven't done that before, called Basic Slide Exercise you can check out. But I'm assuming that you kind of know how to do that. So assuming you know how to do that, here's what I would do with that. So the next thing I would do is, if you're a beginner, is you're probably doing most of those slides at this point with your 2nd finger, your middle finger, right? So you can see that's where the wrist angle and having your fingernails too long, right? If your fingernails are too long, you're going to be back like this, and then when you go to do that slide, you're going to be muting. You can also really work on your wrist angle there if you're a beginner. Make sure your wrist isn't back too much like this when you go to do a slide. Other tip I always say with slides is get enough of the first note, right? You need to hear that first note reference. Okay, so work on that first, obviously, but once you got that down, what I would do is 2 things. Try that same exercise, but with each of your 4 fingers, okay? So starting maybe with your index finger, right? I'm just going to go back down. Okay, try it with your 2nd finger like we already did, just so you got it. And the other thing I always say is, you might have noticed my right hand just made a tiny little mistake there, which is okay. Work on one hand at a time, right? I'm now focusing on my left hand for this practice session. So I'm giving my right hand a little more leeway than I normally would if I was working on my right hand, right? If I was working on the rolls there, I probably would have stopped and taken the left hand away and looped it. But I'm working on my left hand in this case, so I'm just focusing on those slides. So if your right hand gets a little bit off, it's not the end of the world, right? Try with your ring finger. You can also try it up here if you want. And like I said, it doesn't really matter what roll you do. You can slide up there and pinch. And lastly, it would probably be the trickiest, is try it with your pinky, the stubborn one, right? So that one, you're really going to have to make sure you're playing on the tip of your finger. I know for me, when I first started, my pinky would kind of bend backwards like that, because it was, or it would kind of like shake. It was really wimpy when I first started playing. So this is good practice. Just Get your pinky to be a little bit stronger. Another simple thing you could try is like change fingers on each string. So maybe like I start with my middle finger. So you're probably not necessarily going to do that in context, right? Like of a real song. But again, this is kind of the equivalent of like lifting weights at the gym or something, right? We're just trying to build up the strength in our fingers on this exercise. So you like I said, in practice, you're probably going to use your second finger, your middle finger for a lot of those. But it's really good practice to have the strength to be able to do it with any finger you want, okay? So practice that as many times as you need to. Like I said, it might take a couple days or weeks to get your strength up to where you can do that. Check your angle on all your fingers too. You can always stop and do the string test, is where you just slide up and then play the strings above it. Make sure that you're not back like this or out too much where your hand is hurting. And then the other thing I would try is do some backslides. So the other thing, if you're a beginner, you've probably slid up more than you've slid down. So one you could try that will sound nice is like slide 2 to 4 on the third string with that roll. Like that. I'm kind of sliding up and then sliding back down. Back slides are trickier, I think, than up slides, because you have to really get the... just a little bit, you have to be more precise. It's easy to kind of overslide. Try with each finger. Probably be the trickiest with your pinky. Yeah, that one's tricky. So practice that. Other beginner thing you can try is take each of those notes, right? So those are our chord tones in the key of G. Those are the notes that make up the chord. Right? So what we could practice is sliding into each of those from above and below. So we did 2 to 5. The other thing you practice is slide from a different spot. Try 3 to 5, right? It'll just give you more accuracy to be able to slide from different positions. Try 4 to 5. Try with each finger, right? You try like backslide. You're either going to want to slide from below like 1 or 2 frets and above either 1 or 2 frets. If 1 fret sounds weird, then slide from 2 frets above. And again, you can really slide technically from anywhere, but it's just good practice. Try 2 frets or either 1 fret or 2 frets above. And you can try without a roll at first too if you need to. Or try with a roll. You're just trying those back slides with each finger. Same thing, you can try from above. Try 1 fret on the 3rd string like this. That, same thing, try with all the fingers. Same thing, you can try 2 frets above on the 2nd string. Like this. Like I said, for me, the pinky's always the trickiest, so that's the kind of the one I work on. Shake it out if you need to, or, you know, like I said, do this over a number of days. Also try it on the 1st string. So you can see with these exercises, I'm testing my wrist angle to make sure I can always get all my notes to ring out clear, and I'm building my calluses and my strength in each individual finger. This might take you a while, like I said, so digest this slowly. You'll probably feel there's some fine muscles in your hand. You know, especially like for me, when I start using my pinky a lot, I feel it on the outside of my hand right here. So obviously go slow. If your hand is hurting at any point, just take a break. But building up this strength in your muscles is really going to help your playing long term. If you can do these slides quickly and accurately, all of the songs that you're learning are instantly going to get better. All right, for part 2, let's break down some more intermediate level exercises you can do. Here we go.